Dealers are drowning in motorcycles nobody wants. If you pick the wrong one in 2025, you're not just wasting money, you're locking yourself into a ride that loses value fast. Every year, thousands of riders make the mistake of chasing price tags or nostalgia, only to regret it when resale tanks. In this countdown, I'll reveal the 14 Japanese bikes you must avoid. And by the end, you'll know which ones can still protect your wallet. Number 14. Honda Rebel 500. Riders chasing affordability often land on the Rebel 500, but its bargain price hides compromises that seasoned bikers quickly notice. Its compact frame and low 27.2-inch seat height give new riders the sense that they can plant their feet firmly and manage the bike with confidence. Wet weight comes in at 408 pounds, light enough to maneuver in parking lots, but still substantial enough to feel like a real cruiser. This approachable stance has always been its strongest selling point. Beneath that slim tank sits a 471 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine. It delivers 47 horsepower and 32 pound-feet of torque, numbers that are forgiving rather than thrilling. In town, the smooth pull makes it comfortable to ride at low speeds, and the conventional front forks with twin rear shocks keep bumps from becoming overwhelming. The simplicity of its design makes it a trustworthy partner for those just learning the road. But seasoned riders soon find themselves reaching for more. Braking is managed by a single disc up front and another at the rear, both tied into an anti-lock braking system for added safety. That system works well for beginners but lacks the stronger bite that experienced riders expect. Priced at $6,999 in 2025, the Rebel is positioned to catch the eye of the budget-conscious. Yet many buyers quickly realize it is not a long-term machine. For casual rides close to home, it does its job. But for the man who craves torque, comfort, and highway confidence, this little cruiser feels like a short chapter before the real journey begins. This Rebel may win on price. Yet the following motorcycle proves that nostalgia alone cannot guarantee long-term loyalty. Number 13. Kawasaki W800. What looks like a vintage classic on the surface, the W800 often struggles to live up to its old-school promise once you ride it. Its spoked wheels, teardrop fuel tank, and round headlamp all echo the 1970s. And at first glance, it seems like a faithful classic reborn. With a seat height of 31.1 inches and a wet weight of 495 pounds, it carries manageable proportions that appeal to riders seeking a simple, upright stance. Yet the shine of chrome and retro curves cannot mask the reality that performance has not kept pace with modern expectations. Power comes from a 773 cubic centimeter parallel twin, an engine that produces 48 horsepower and 44 pound-feet of torque. That output works well enough for relaxed rides at lower speeds, but when the road stretches out, the limits show quickly. The calm engine character fits the look of the bike, but it does not deliver the muscle many riders want when overtaking on the highway. On back roads, the motor hums along smoothly, but seasoned riders know immediately that this is not a machine built for spirited acceleration. Stopping power relies on a single front disc and a rear drum, both linked to an anti-lock braking system. That setup provides a nod to safety, but still feels dated compared to rivals that offer stronger braking packages. Suspension is managed by a telescopic front fork and twin rear shocks, which deliver comfort around town, but lack refinement at higher speeds. At a starting price of $9,100 in 2025, the W800 demands premium money for what amounts to style over substance. After all its retro charm fades, attention shifts to a bike that promised comfort through technology but missed the mark with tradition-minded riders. If you're finding this list eye-opening, hit like and drop a comment below. Tell me which bike shocked you most. I want to hear your story and your opinion. Number 12. Honda CTX 700. Honda aimed to simplify motorcycling with the CTX 700 DCT. But the very features meant to make it easy turned away traditional riders. Its low 28.3-inch seat height and approachable stance invite new riders, while a wet weight of 475 pounds keeps it steady without feeling overwhelming. With forward foot controls and a laid-back riding position, It was designed to be comfortable for long hours, but what it offered in accessibility, it often lacked in character. Many riders accustomed to the sound and feel of a traditional cruiser found it muted and detached. At the heart of the CTX is a 670 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine tuned for steady delivery. It produces 48 horsepower along with 44 pound-feet of torque, numbers that keep the bike manageable in traffic but underwhelming when open highway stretches demand more. The engine pairs with the option of a dual-clutch automatic transmission, which eliminates manual shifting altogether. For commuters, that feature is useful, but for riders who value engagement, it strips away much of what makes motorcycling feel alive. Braking comes from a single disc at the front and another at the rear, both supported by an anti-lock braking system for added security. Suspension is handled by a telescopic front fork and twin rear shocks that smooth out town streets but struggle to inspire confidence at higher speeds. Priced at $7,699 in 2025, the CTX appeals to riders looking for practicality. Yet seasoned cruisers see it as more appliance than motorcycle. Its attempt at simplicity divided the crowd, leading us straight into a machine that wore futurism on its sleeve but failed to find its audience. Whatever you ride, the right gear and accessories make all the difference. Links are below. Number 11. Honda DN10. The DN10 arrived as a futuristic experiment, a machine that looked bold but never earned the trust of serious riders. Its low 27.3-inch seat height gave it an approachable feel, while a wet weight of 595 pounds made it feel substantial on the road. The stretched profile and sweeping bodywork looked like something out of a science fiction film. At first glance, it drew riders in with futuristic appeal, but when the riding experience failed to deliver on that promise, enthusiasm quickly cooled. Beneath those wide front fairings sat a 680 cubic centimeter V-twin engine producing 61 horsepower and 47 pound-feet of torque. The power plant was paired with a continuously variable automatic transmission, marketed as a breakthrough that removed the need for manual shifting. Around town, the smooth delivery seemed friendly, but on winding roads, the absence of gear control left seasoned riders feeling detached. The engine pulled steadily, yet the weight and long wheelbase kept the bike from handling with the sharpness that its styling suggested. Braking came from dual front discs and a single rear disc, supported by an anti-lock braking system. That setup was competent but uninspiring, especially when paired with a telescopic front fork and a single rear shock that favored comfort over precision. For a motorcycle priced at $15,599 in 2025, riders expected more engagement and refinement. Instead, the DN10 lived in an awkward middle ground, too heavy for sport performance, yet too odd for cruiser comfort. Futuristic looks can turn heads, though the story continues with a design so radical it became more of a display piece than a daily ride. Number 10. Honda NM4 Voltus. With its radical styling and aggressive lines, the NM4 Voltus tried to be a rolling statement piece rather than a practical motorcycle. Its stretched bodywork and futuristic angles made it stand out in every showroom. At a glance, the long panels and wide fairings promised something bold and powerful, but riders quickly discovered that style took priority over substance. Despite its dramatic looks, it left many wondering if it was meant to be a cruiser, a tourer, or something else entirely. The NM4 Voltus is powered by a 670 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine producing 47 horsepower and 44 pound-feet of torque. Braking is handled by a single front disc and a single rear disc with an anti-lock braking system. Suspension consists of a telescopic front fork and a rear monoshock. Wet weight is 570 pounds, and the seat height sits at 25.6 inches. The 2025 starting price is $11,299. Out on the road, the Voltus delivers smooth but unremarkable performance. The engine is steady at low speeds, and the low seat height makes it easy to manage for riders of different sizes. Yet the forward foot position and raised handlebars create an awkward posture that becomes uncomfortable over longer distances. Its suspension provides adequate comfort in town, but the weight and stretched chassis make spirited riding a chore. Even the futuristic panels that first grab attention reveal a drawback: limited storage and questionable practicality. The NM4 Voltus stands as a reminder that appearance alone cannot carry a motorcycle. It offered bold design, but little in the way of character or excitement. This striking silhouette may grab eyes on the street, yet the spotlight quickly turns to a middleweight sport machine that could not settle on its identity. Number 9. Kawasaki Ninja 650. The Ninja 650 promised sport performance in an accessible package, but many riders found it caught between commuter and canyon carver. With its sharp fairing and aggressive stance, it looked every bit the sport bike. A seat height of 31.1 inches gave riders a comfortable, upright posture, while a wet weight of 426 pounds kept it manageable in city traffic. On first impression, the bike promised speed and agility, but the reality revealed a machine built more for commuting than carving corners. Power comes from a 649 cubic centimeter parallel twin that produces 67 horsepower and 46 pound-feet of torque. The delivery is smooth and steady, making it friendly for newer riders and practical for daily use. In town, the engine pulls willingly, and the light clutch makes stop-and-go traffic less of a chore. Out on the highway, the motor holds its own at cruising speed, but seasoned riders quickly find themselves wishing for sharper acceleration and more thrilling top-end character to match the styling. Braking is provided by dual front discs and a single rear disc, supported by an anti-lock braking system. The setup feels predictable and safe, yet it lacks the strong bite that sport riders often expect from a bike wearing the Ninja badge. Suspension is managed by a telescopic front fork and a rear monoshock, which deliver comfort and stability for commuting but fall short when pushed aggressively through corners. Priced at $8,200 in 2025, the Ninja 650 sits in an awkward middle ground. It wears a sport bike's look but delivers a commuter's ride. Caught between commuter and sport bike, it leaves the stage open for a cruiser that tried to welcome every rider but delivered too many compromises. Number 8. Kawasaki Vulcan S. Marketed as a customizable cruiser for all sizes of riders, the Vulcan S ended up feeling more like a compromise than a true cruiser. Its approachable stance begins with a seat height of 27.8 inches, making it easy to manage for riders of nearly any size. Add in a wet weight of 498 pounds, and it offers stability without ever feeling unwieldy. These numbers give the Vulcan S a practical edge for commuting and short trips, but many riders seeking a cruiser with soul are left feeling underwhelmed once the miles roll on. At the center of the Vulcan S is a 649 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine, producing 61 horsepower and 46 pound-feet of torque, offering smooth, commuter-friendly performance but lacking the low-end grunt cruiser riders crave. Borrowed from the Ninja 650, it feels refined yet uninspired on open roads. A telescopic front fork and rear monoshock provide balanced suspension, soaking up city imperfections though never matching the plushness of larger cruisers. Braking relies on front and rear discs with anti-lock braking system support, delivering confidence. Priced at $7,399, practicality outweighed passion, leaving the Vulcan S forgettable. Number 7. Suzuki SV650X. Styled as a cafe-inspired twist on a proven platform, the SV650X never fully convinced either purists or performance fans. Its cafe racer design featured clip-on bars and a small bikini fairing that hinted at old racing heritage. With a wet weight of 435 pounds and a seat height of 30.9 inches, it offered a compact and approachable stance that appealed to riders who wanted something different from a traditional cruiser or sport machine. At first glance, it looked sharp and purposeful, but once riders put real miles on it, the shortcomings became clear. Power came from a 645 cubic centimeter V-twin engine, producing 75 horsepower and 47 pound-feet of torque. offering smooth pull and predictable balance through its lightweight frame. The cafe-inspired posture with clip-ons looked the part but limited comfort on longer rides, leaving function trailing behind style. Dual front discs and a single rear disc, supported by an anti-lock braking system, delivered reliable braking, while a telescopic fork and link-type shock offered stability without the sharpness sport riders expected. At $7,900 in 2025, the SV650X sat awkwardly between retro purists and performance seekers. If you're serious about protecting your wallet and your ride, subscribe now. More breakdowns like this are coming, and you don't want to miss the next reveal. Number 6. Yamaha FJ09. Built to go head-to-head with American Iron, the Bolt R-Spec offered attitude on the outside, but left much to be desired in long-term performance. The FJ09 promised the speed and excitement of a sport machine mixed with the comfort of a tourer. Its upright seating position, aided by a seat height of 33.3 inches, looked inviting for longer rides, while a wet weight just under 500 pounds gave it an agile feel in traffic. At first glance, it appeared practical and versatile, but once the road stretched out, its limitations became obvious. At the heart of the FJ09 is an 847 cubic centimeter inline three-cylinder engine, producing 115 horsepower and 65 pound-feet of torque, delivering strong mid-range punch and lively acceleration through corners. On winding roads, the triple feels spirited, but longer rides reveal discomfort from a firm seat. Braking is handled by dual front discs and a single rear disc with anti-lock braking system support, offering dependable stopping, though the light front end can feel unsettled. Adjustable front forks and a rear monoshock provide sporty handling yet harshness on rough pavement. At $10,490 in 2025, it sat uncomfortably between touring comfort and true sport precision. Number 5. Honda CB650R. Retro curves and modern engineering define the CB650R, yet the balance never quite satisfied riders on either side of the spectrum. Its styling leaned heavily on retro inspiration, with round lights and sharp bodywork suggesting a cafe racer influence. A seat height of 31.9 inches gave riders a slightly aggressive stance, while the wet weight of 445 pounds kept it light enough for city commuting and weekend rides. On first impression, it seemed like a versatile package, but many riders quickly discovered it was more polished than passionate. At the heart of the CB is a 648 cubic centimeter inline four-cylinder engine, producing 94 horsepower and 47 pound-feet of torque, delivering smooth, predictable acceleration with refined manners that suit commuting but lack excitement for seasoned riders. Around town, it feels composed, while winding roads expose its tame nature. Dual front discs and a single rear disc with anti-lock braking system support provide reliable stopping power, and suspension from a telescopic fork and rear monoshock favors comfort over precision. Priced at $9,200 in 2025, it sits crowded among rivals offering sharper thrills or truer retro charm. The CB650R ultimately never found its core audience. It was not thrilling enough for sport riders, nor nostalgic enough for purists. Straddling two worlds left it adrift, setting the scene for a heritage-styled motorcycle that raised even deeper questions about identity. Number 4. Yamaha XSR 900. The XSR 900 set out to merge heritage styling with modern punch, but its split identity left riders questioning its purpose. Its upright riding stance, helped by a seat height of 32.7 inches, gave riders a commanding feel. Meanwhile, the wet weight of 429 pounds kept it agile and quick to respond in city traffic. At first glance, the combination of round lights and retro bodywork made it appear like the perfect mix of old and new. Yet the more miles riders put on it, the more its identity crisis began to show. Power comes from an 847 cubic centimeter inline three-cylinder engine, producing 115 horsepower and 64 pound-feet of torque. giving the XSR strong mid-range punch and lively throttle response that makes it eager on twisting roads. Dual front discs and a single rear disc with anti-lock braking system support provide reliable braking, while suspension from an inverted telescopic fork and rear monoshock balances agility with stability. Yet the upright ergonomics create awkward posture on longer rides. Priced at $11,500 in 2025, it sat awkwardly between retro charm and modern aggression, never fully pleasing either audience. Number 3. Yamaha Bolt R-Spec. It arrived with bold claims of being Japan's answer to the Harley Davidson Sportster. Its stripped-down bobber look, short wheelbase, and chunky stance gave it instant showroom appeal, and at first glance it seemed like a cruiser with real attitude. A low seat height of 27.2 inches kept it approachable, while a wet weight of 542 pounds planted it firmly on the road. For riders chasing raw simplicity and classic style, it looked like a winner. But once the honeymoon ended, cracks in the experience began to show. Power comes from a 942 cubic centimeter air-cooled V-twin, producing just 53 horsepower and 59 pound-feet of torque. On paper, those numbers sound serviceable, but in practice, the Bolt feels heavy for its output. Around town, it pulls steadily enough, but highway overtakes demand more patience than most cruiser fans expect. The motor hums reliably, yet never delivers the satisfying punch its muscular looks promise. Braking relies on a single front disc and single rear disc, both backed by an anti-lock system. While functional, the setup feels underwhelming for a bike of its size. Suspension comes courtesy of conventional forks up front and twin shocks at the rear, offering only modest comfort on smooth city streets, but little refinement once the pavement gets rough. Add in cramped ergonomics for taller riders, and longer trips quickly expose its limitations. Priced at $8,999 in 2025, the Bolt R-Spec appears attractive against bigger cruisers, but the value fades as soon as the miles pile on. Stylish for short hops and coffee shop runs, it simply doesn't deliver the performance, comfort, or character needed for serious long-term riding. For many, it ends up more of a statement piece than a satisfying motorcycle. Once its confusion is clear, we arrive at a motorcycle that still roars with power, yet finds itself chasing a fading crown. Number 2. Suzuki Hayabusa. Once the king of speed, the Hayabusa still carries legendary status. But in today's market, its brute force feels more like excess than excellence. Once crowned the fastest production motorcycle on Earth, it became a legend for raw speed and unrelenting dominance on the straights. A seat height of 31.5 inches gave it a surprisingly approachable stance for a machine of its size, while a wet weight of 186 pounds made it feel planted and stable on the highway. Those numbers built confidence at speed, but in the real world of daily riding, they also revealed how cumbersome the Hayabusa could feel when the road got tight. At its core lies a 1,340 cubic centimeter inline four-cylinder engine. This powerhouse produces 187 horsepower and 110 pound-feet of torque, surging effortlessly into triple-digit speeds. That kind of muscle made the Hayabusa famous, and even today, it can rocket past most challengers with ease. On open highways, it is nearly unmatched, delivering relentless acceleration and remarkable stability. Yet around town, the very size and heft that make it so sure-footed at speed turn it into a handful in stop-and-go traffic or tight corners. Braking is handled by dual discs at the front and a single disc at the rear, tied to an anti-lock braking system that provides plenty of stopping confidence. Suspension comes from fully adjustable front forks and a rear monoshock, designed for high-speed stability rather than city agility. Priced at $18,500 in 2025, it sits firmly in premium territory, with insurance and maintenance costs only adding to the burden. The Hayabusa remains an icon, but its glory belongs to an era when straight-line speed was the ultimate prize. Modern riders want more balance between power, comfort, and practicality. Once unmatched in speed, its range shifts the focus to a cruiser that, despite its polished looks, could not capture the loyalty it craved. Number 1. Suzuki Boulevard C50. Dressed in chrome and classic cruiser lines, the Boulevard C50 seemed built for tradition, yet underneath, it struggled to inspire real passion. Its low stance, shaped by a seat height of 27.6 inches, made it inviting for new riders, while a wet weight of 611 pounds gave it a planted presence on the highway. Chrome accents and a teardrop tank echoed classic American design, suggesting heritage and tradition. Yet beneath those first impressions, the bike lacked the depth of character needed to stand tall against rivals that brought more power and presence to the table. At the heart of the Boulevard C50 is an 805 cubic centimeter V-twin engine. Producing 45 horsepower and 46 pound-feet of torque, it delivers steady but modest acceleration. The motor pairs with a 5-speed transmission and a shaft drive, giving the bike smooth shifts and low-maintenance ownership. On city streets, this combination provides enough pull to keep things enjoyable, and out on the highway, it maintains speed comfortably. Still, compared to larger cruisers, it never delivers the commanding torque or deep rumble that many older riders expect. The braking system uses a single disc up front and a rear drum, a setup that feels dated against competitors offering anti-lock braking systems for greater confidence. Suspension comes from telescopic front forks and dual rear shocks, tuned for comfort on relaxed rides but lacking refinement on rougher pavement. With a 2025 starting price of $9,299, the C50 sits below many premium cruisers, but close enough in cost that buyers often step up to more iconic options. The Boulevard C50 had the looks and the reliability to make sense on paper, yet it lacked the spark to ignite true loyalty. In the world of cruisers, presence matters as much as practicality, and this bike never fully captured the soul of the riders it hoped to serve. And there you have it, 14 Japanese motorcycles you'll want to steer clear of in 2025 if you value your money and your ride. Some might look tempting in the showroom, but once the miles add up, reality hits harder than a bad trade-in offer. Now it's your turn. Did any of these bikes surprise you? Have you owned one of them? Or do you think a few on this list deserve a second chance? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. If you found this breakdown useful, hit that like button, subscribe for more brutally honest motorcycle reviews, and share this video with a friend who's shopping for their next ride. Don't let them make an expensive mistake.